ओम ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहि तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्री गुरुं परमानंदम वंदे स्वानंद विग्रहम् यस्य सन्निध्यमात्रेण चिदानंदायते बपोः। We were discussing this especially after this Bandhatrayam, how Mahamudra and Nabhamudra plays big role in life. Incidentally, when we saw that especially when a person does Navamudra, no rogan maranam tasya, no nidra, no kshuda trishna, verse number 63, no murcha tu bhavet tasya, yo mudram vetti Khecharim. So he who does this Khechari mudra, the other name of the Khechari mudra also called Navamudra, now definitely that person will not be afflicted by disease, death, sleep, hunger, thirst, and fainting. Now, question may arise. There are many people, especially many Swamijis, they have their disease. So, how is it possible? You name it, anybody. In fact, as though every Swami has got more disease than common people. You have to understand, that means you have not understood properly. Please understand. So, there is a difference between a yogi, a Swami. So, when you say yogi, the one who is always committed, that means the person 24 hours is engaged in this. That's why the verse we started very carefully. So the prayer verse itself, what? That yasya sanidhyamatrena chidanandayate tanu. So how to make the tanu, the body, permanent? So all their effort is to make sure body with body they want to achieve amrutatvam. That's why they live long. Sometimes they live kalpas. So whole concept is different there. And here when you look at any Swami, yes, they know it. They might have practiced or might not have practiced or have practiced sometime, then after that they drop it. And moreover, it is all about their prarabdha too. Because based on the prarabdha, one has to go through. Nobody is free from prarabdha. Because what is a prarabdha? Prarabdha only upashamyena. How it will be upashamyam? We say that only by experiencing anubhavena eva. Only by going through, only by experience, it will, settle down. So that means if we try to look at this concept, we have to be very clear. That means we are mixing the concept, okay? And here then question may arise, then why to study this text? That's why this text is not meant for you people. Very simple. So whether you like it or not, just I am wasting my time or spending my time, I myself don't know. Just I am giving some information. I don't know things are entering in you or not. If it enters, fine. Doesn't enter, better. Okay. So I am expecting that, I'm showing you 20 steps. At least try to come to 1 or 2 steps climb. Okay. But without climbing 1 or 2 steps, if you start talking about 20 steps, what happens? This step is good or 90 step is good. That means you are completely, confused. Please stop asking these questions. Continuing. However, here further goes, because the concept here is like if you look at a person, especially a mother, how a mother nourishes a child. Especially when the mother has given birth to a child, and that to first time becoming a mother, does not know what is mother, to become mother, like how to become a mother, completely unaware of the situation. And the way the mother gets connected to the child, of course the child is nothing but extension of the mother. That's different thing altogether, because it was inside, now it has come out. Okay, that's physical aspect. But the concept here is how the mother nourishes the child. Wherever the mother is, if the child cries or child needs something, the mother feels. So how that connection between mother and child, and because of which the child starts growing. So also yogi and yoga. So if a person wants to this, tanum, the body has to chidanandam. So what is to be done is that sort of commitment means, other than that, nothing is there. If little bit something comes, no, I don't want to do anything, just I want to know, breathe or look, that itself also goes other way around. In fact, few verses will be coming related to that. That means that sort of commitment is required. And here we talk a lot of in like ideas, a lot of points to make sure that look, mind should understand, hey, look, there are different realms, there are different things. You better keep quiet, better follow what Shastra says. Or else mind will start throwing its tantrum. Mind will start throwing its logic. Mind will start throwing its own thing. Then finally, what will happen? Back to the square. Keeping that in mind, again, he says, Vidyate nachasokena nacha lippeta karmana badhyate nasakenapi yo mudram veti khecharim. And of course, यह खेचरी मुद्रा बेती, the one he who knows Khechari Mudra, the one who practices, the one who lives, the one who is committed to, or the relationship Khechari Mudra and the person is like mother and child. And that person, na saha, na shokena pidyate iti. So definitely that person will not be affected by any shoka, no affliction, Neither affected, no afflicted either. So no disturbance ityartha. Shokam will come. So shokam comes, there is some type of loss. The grief, the sorrow, that is a part of our life. I remember, especially when we were studying in our schools, especially when we leave in Indian context, when we leave schools and we have to go to university, college, we say. So there is shokam. In fact, that farewell day, you should see the cry, okay? Because acquainted with that school, the atmosphere, all these boys, girls know each other, small group, whatever, and now entering into new uncertainty. And shocked, you'll be shocked if you observe this concept. Mainly girls cry a lot. And boys too cry, not that boys do not cry. Those who cry, those who are too much comfortable in that place. And the moment they get that they have to leave this place, they have to go somewhere. And moreover, I see notice also those girls will not study further because those days, once schooling is over, so ready for getting married. Okay. In fact, they cry much more. Whereas the girls, those who are interested to do higher study and big way, they don't bother. Because they have kept something in mind. So that means what I'm trying to say here is every shokam also has got harsham. So every grief has also joy. Can you see this point? Provided if you look at that aspect. Whereas if you look at only shokam part, means only you look at your comfort part. That how comfortable you are, you may not be that much comfortable in a new place or with a new situation. Then what happens? You start, murmuring. You say, grieving more. The sorrow comes. And that's why we say, sorrow is the part of life. And in life, there is no sorrow. You cannot grow either. But the problem is when there is a sorrow, you are not supposed to dwell upon sorrow. You are supposed to dwell upon the harsham part. Behind sorrow, what is there? As I gave you the example of this school leaving. It's a very, live example. So for every loss, there is gain. If you ask me, even if also the most important loss is called, losing hair, okay? Hair loss is not a joke, okay? Every loss you can gain it back. Hair loss, you cannot gain it back. It's once for all. I'll tell you, there is a big, gain. What is that gain? No shampoo. No time waste. What a gain. How? You observe this because you have to I don't know what people think that I am bald. What is it? That is a people problem, not your problem. You understand? What a blessing. Because sometimes I think, if there is no hair, what a blessing. Huh? Anyway, joke apart. So now pidyate, that is the first thing is. Because the trick is here, because of practice, you know how to change the situation. The mind is so alert. So you are able to look at other side in a fraction of second. So that you don't allow your prana to fall down. You understand the concept? You never engage yourself allowing the prana to fall down at any circumstances. So maintaining your prana. That's why it takes, just like that. Even if you fall down, you need to wake up like a Kandukavat. Like how the ball, when falls down, how again it comes back. Rubber ball especially, okay? Not cloth ball, okay? If the cloth ball, the ball is made up of cloth, what will happen? Once it falls, it never gets off. So you guys are sometimes, not, you can say, Swamiji, cloth ball is better. At least it doesn't break. We are clay ball. Neither we get up, also we break down. What a beautiful concept, huh? However, then second point is, na cha lipyate karmana. It's a beautiful point that, so lipyate means engrossed, being with one, also bound. These are three: engrossed, being with one, and bound. The person is not definitely bound by any karma, any action. So that means what? The person is very clear what the person is doing. And especially when you are clear in your thinking, you will not have any sense of guilt or regret. Because sense of guilt and regret comes when there is confusion. You may have pain, but you will not have sense of guilt and regret. Can you see the difference between? And many people, what they do, to avoid the pain, they choose guilt and regret. Common people, to avoid pain, to avoid difficulties, by default, they choose regret and guilt. Does it happen or not? So when there is guilt and regret, because both are together, both, not like, no, I have only sense of guilt, no regret. Only I have a sense of regret, no guilt. No, if both go together. Wherever there is sense of regret, there is guilt. Wherever there is guilt, there is regret. So once I have sense of guilt and regret, definitely I am bound. Not only I am bound with reference to that situation, that person, that object, but also my narrow thinking brings me down, brings my prana down. So here he says that also does not happen. And of course, badhyate na sakenapi. So that means what? The person badhyate, there is no obstruction. In fact, the person does not feel restricted or bound by anyone. So the person is a free person. That I do because to be done, not that I am, under the influence or under something or other. No, this is to be done. I do. If I don't feel like doing, I'll not do. Let people think whatever they think. How does it matter to me? And people's job is to think. How does it matter to me? You understand? If you do, people will think. If you don't do, people will think. If you halfway do, also people will think. Not only think, they will talk. So that is their job. Let them do. Because if you keep listening to others, can you survive? Then you say, oh, that's why I don't listen to it. I don't care it. That's all. But you don't care, but you care. Your thoughts are not. So you have to really carefully, how, from which standpoint you say your things, that also you need to look at. And of course, he says, how it happened, the one who does Khechari Mudra. Why and how? Because what happens in Khechari Mudra mainly, that Khechari Mudra generally makes a person to take care of one's own prana in such a way so that the person will never feel that is low. Okay? This is the most important thing to observe. Khechari Mudra is such a beautiful thing to observe. The person never feels that, you know, the person never feels that the prana is low. And especially when a person starts practicing Khechari Mudra, at least to start with, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, then keep increasing, you will see a big, big difference. So that's why Khechari Mudra to be continued. That's why he says, next verse, Chittam chalati no yasmat jihva charati khechari teneyam khechari siddha sarvasiddhe namaskruta. Says, look, yasmat jihva khechari charati. So yasmat, because of what? Jihva, the tongue, khechari charati. So the tongue moves in the space of khechari. The moment you do khechari mudra ityartha. So that means what? You take the tongue, that's why we say, the more your tongue comes out, the more you are engrossed in sense objects. In fact, we say, when you are interested to eat something, saliva comes. Have you ever observed that keeping the tongue up, your saliva comes? Never. Saliva comes when tongue is down. And here he says, once you do Khechari Mudra, and because of which Chittam na chalati iti. So that means what? The mind does not become restless. Chalati means moves, but it becomes restless. Okay, it doesn't become restless ityartha. That's why whenever your mind is restless, mind does not listen to it, you can do Khechari Mudra. And of course, when it really does this much, that's why he says, Tena yam khechari siddha sarva siddhihi namaskruta iti. Tena, therefore, yam khechari mudra. So this khechari mudra sarva siddhihi siddha iti. That means what? All the siddhas, they accomplish this. Not only accomplish, namaskruta. They salute, they reho, they respect this. That's why we say, when you cannot do maunam, at least do Khechari Mudra. And interestingly, I think I have shared with you all this information. I need to see the person in Chhattisgarh. There is one person. So who has cut his tongue? And he sits outside, doesn't eat anything, just simply sits. Now, many years. So once in a while, they give some milk. And namesake, he takes water. That's all. And he doesn't talk because he cannot talk. And he doesn't bother. So permanently Khechari Mudra. Where this tongue, 2.5 feet tongue is very dangerous fellow, okay? Because tongue is a place, both Gyanendriya and Karmendriya, both are there. And today we are fat because of this fellow. Today we are not good with many people because of this fellow. You say something, that's all. So this 2-inch fellow destroys everything. In fact, we are dancing according to the tune of this 2-inch fellow. Clear? Imagine if this 2-inch fellow listen to us, 50% of your problem will be solved. Not 50, more than that. Okay. What to cook, what not to cook. And based on the cooking, I need bigger kitchen. I need this, I need that. Then it starts increasing. Imagine whatever comes just food sake, whatever comes for the body sake. Now what will happen? Will you bother much? Anyway, let me not get into that. So that's why this Khechari Mudra is very nice. Continuing. Bindu Moolam Sarirana Shirastatra Pratishthita Bhavayanti Sarirana Apadattalamastakam Khecharya Mudraya Yena Vivaram Lambikordhataha Natasya Ksharate Binduhu Kaminya Lingitasya Cha. I have not given you translation, but sometimes better not to have translation also, okay? Because too much spoon feeding not good. So you can break your head too, okay? He says beautifully, look, from Khechari Mudra, why Khechari Mudra plays a big role? He tries to point out that for a person, Bindu is most important aspect. So Bindu is called life force. So Bindu that we call as, how this, what we eat, then goes through, 7 stages to become Bindu. There is beautiful verse goes like this. One place somewhere I have seen how the ghee is inherent in milk. In every drop of milk, there is butter or not? There is ghee or not? Supposed to be. But nowadays it's not possible. What I call fatless milk. Some people say, Swamiji, this is fatless milk. Please, God's sake. If you don't want to give me milk, don't give me. This fatless milk, what is this? It doesn't really enter anything in the mind. Either you give me milk or don't give me milk. I'm just indirectly communicating to everybody, okay? Here, how this ghee is inherent in milk, and as long as ghee is there in the milk, the richness of the milk remains. In fact, that is called milk. The taste, the color, and the richness of the milk is intact. Whereas if the ghee is being removed, it is a namesake milk. You understand what I'm trying to say? But nowadays it's costly, okay? Fatless milk is more costlier than the with fat, if I'm right, correct? What can we do? What a concept nowadays. Same thing here also. Bindu is in the entire body. So Bindu means Virya, then Raja for ladies. What we call as life force. So that is in the body fully, every part of the body. Because when we take khadya, the food, this becomes rasam, this becomes juice. Then from jarasa comes raktam, becomes blood. From that medam, flesh. From that asti, asti means bone. From asti becomes majja, majja means bone marrow. Then from majja comes bindu. This is how the process is. And here he says, as long as bindu is there strong, that long you have energy, you have power. Like milk and ghee, the butter. If bindu falls down, you are powerless. We give another example that like snake. It's a wrong example, but beautiful example. This is what I have heard when I was a teenager. I was practicing all these things. Very beautiful example in village they gave, so that it becomes easier to understand. When I say snake, especially cobra, because I have seen, we have really, while practicing, we have seen few cases. In fact, I have spent some time in this. If a cobra has bitten someone, you will discover after that the cobra will not be able to move fast. The snake is an amazing concept. Once the cobra starts biting, will not be able to move fast. That's why what we do when the snake start chasing, or we chase snake, sometimes we have fun in our teenage time. So what we do, we will have a cloth because we are prepared, we'll throw the cloth. So the moment we throw the cloth, what the snake will do? Will start beating. So once it starts hitting the cloth, now the venom comes out. Because angry. In fact, we'll allow, again run, again put another one. You will discover after 2-3 times, once it does, that snake will not have strength to chase you. Because again, it takes some time for the snake to create that much venom. So it's a wrong example. The venom is the strength of the snake. You understand the concept, what I'm trying to highlight? Only this much. And it takes its own time. That's why you can go any snake center where they collect venom. When they try to catch, you can see many channels, or you can go live, you can see any snake, any channel, you can see anywhere you people want to see, you can see. When they try to catch, that time, the moment they take the venom out, the fellow, you understand? No sound, nothing. Just wants a hole or wants to go back to its place. So how this works, so also the Bindu. This is the point I want to communicate, nothing else, okay? So I am not a slave, snake helpline person, okay? So here he says, look, Bindu mulam sariranam tatra sira pratisthita. So the Bindu is mulam. That means what? Here he says that Bindu is the root of the body. So when this Bindu is the root of the body, now he says that Tatra, there, Sarirana Siraha Pratisthita. So in that, you can say this subtle nadi, sira means nadis are established. So the nadis are connected to bindus. And in fact, we say the nadis carry the bindu. And the energy of the person is completely related to what? Related to bindu. Now, secondly, he says, not only that, yena khechariya mudreya lambika urdhatah vivaram cha kaminya alingatasya bindu naksharate. So he says, beautiful concept. But the job of the bindu, which also next verse he will talk very nicely, to fall down. That's why, if you observe, in especially when we do that Jalandhara Bandha, the Jalandhara Bandha we do because we don't want the Bindu to fall down. Because if the Bindu falls down, it will fall on Jatharagni, the digestive fire. That's why we lock it, not allowing the Bindu to fall down. Because if it falls down in Jatharagni, then what will happen? Definitely the Bindu will leak. It is like how the milk comes in contact with, fire. What will happen? It will make a foam and it will be wasted. Also, if I am right, maybe I need to check through you people, or we can do it. I feel fatless milk will not have much, not only ghee, it will also take longer time to make bubble and to come out. Technically, I feel, but we need to check. Whereas with fat, it will take less time. This is what my mind says, but we need to check this point. So here he says that when this Bindu is being protected, that too because of this Khechari Mudra, he says Khechari Mudra Lambika Uddhataha Vivaram, because you take the tongue, which is go to Lambika. Lambika means the cavity, the Vivaram that is in between. And when it is there, he says, Bindu naksharateti. The Bindu does not leak. And interestingly says that how even if even kaminya alingatasya. So here kaminya means alingatyasya means embracing, entertaining. So kaminya means man or woman, both you can take it. Or you can put the word by embracing desire. So I have put very careful translation. I put by embracing desire, whether it's man or woman, opposite. So he says that in spite of embracing this, the Bindu will not fall down. Why? Because you are in Khechari Mudra. That's why being in Khechari Mudra, this Bindu will not be able to fall down. This is the trick, like how to manage it. And interestingly, next line highlights Apada talamasthakam sariranam bhavayanti. And of course, not only it falls down, and whoever does this Khechari Mudra, and of course, allows to visualize the whole body, being in Khechari Mudra, gazing at eyebrows center Agya Chakra, and aware of the entire body, you will discover that person will be able to not only aware of the whole energy or aura, also will be able to elevate prana. In fact, this is one of the most important tricks is how to make your aura grow vertically. If you want to make your aura to grow vertically, this is one of the best method to follow. More of it. We'll see. Om Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnmad Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all.